at this walk and see that it's work and see that I gotta be up in the dirt so Christ can live and make some reserve. But he's the one that's giving me my work. I didn't see it at first. I was conceited at first until I seen that my conceit hit the hurt. Couldn't believe it at first until sin wasn't something I thirst only for righteousness. Really the reason I'm right in this, informing you that there's a fight in this. We got out our daily in order to walk in righteousness. Really I'm saying it can't work if we don't put Christ in this. If he doesn't live, then we do not see the promises life in this.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy K-Zoe, and you're actually watching episode 5, where we'll be tackling the song Fadin. And then in school, what I realized was the vapor that life was. Let me explain. I would go to class and I would learn on a particular subject, and then I would go and hopefully do homework and review or read. And then after that, the teachers, they would give us quizzes on what we knew. A lot of times we didn't know a lot. And then after that, they would give us tests. And what I ran into after I took these tests was that I couldn't go back, that everything that I put on that test was final. And as I was doing that, I realized, man, it just didn't really seem like I had that much time. I mean, from the moment that we started learning on that particular subject to the moment that we actually took that test, it almost seemed like time had flew by and I didn't have a lot of time to prepare for that test. But a lot of times what we had like 2 to 3 weeks to prepare. But what would happen during those 2 to 3 weeks was I would end up becoming procrastinating a lot. And then I would end up finding different things that were more important to me than actually studying and preparing for that test that I was about to take. Like I used to find, football and eating and watching TV a whole lot more important than actually studying for a test that I was going to be grading on that ultimately was going to determine if I was going to pass that class or not. Really, that stuff was more important, but I couldn't see it at that time. And so what happens with life too at the same time is there's a cost. And there's a cost when you don't value time. There's a cost when you become distracted in this life. And I just really think about it with our lives in Christ. There's a cost to that. And in the end, like this life is a test, and in the end, we'll get our final grade from God. And ultimately, our final grade will be based on Jesus Christ, the finished work of Christ. But what did you do for Christ? What did you do in this life that God has given you? When you hear this song, Fading, you hear the hook and it goes like this. There's gotta be more to this life that I've been living on my own. There's gotta be more to what I know and where I should belong because this life is fading. And I need to know what I'm to do before I'm dead and gone. And every time I hear those lyrics, I hear a person who's crying out and realizing that, just living life and just breathing and just being on this earth is not it. There's more to it. That they were created for more. When I sing this song, I realize that I'm created for more, and there's a purpose that God has placed on the inside of me that I gotta live right now, and I gotta figure out right now before I die, before I'm gone. I wanna live that legacy. I wanna live the purpose and the plan that God has for me because ultimately that's most important. Ultimately, I realize that that's really gonna be the thing that fulfills me and satisfies me because I've tried everything else. I've been living on my own and it hadn't been working and it's left me empty, and there's gotta be more. I feel that there is more to life than this. And when we read in scriptures and we read about this world and the things that we should love, we find out that this world and this earth and the things in it aren't it, and that we should love doing what God has called us to do in His will. Let's go to 1 John, and it'll be 1 John chapter 2, verses 15 through 17. I don't know why I couldn't say that, but if you can turn there with me, and I'll be reading from the New Living Translation. And I'm actually waiting on my Bible app to open up right now. Here it is right here. And then we're going to verse 15. And it says this. It says, "Do not love this world nor the things it offers you. For when you love the world, you do not have the love of the Father in you. For the world offers only a craving for physical pleasure, a craving for everything we see, a pride in our achievements and possessions. These are not from the Father, but are from this world. And this world is fading away along with everything that people crave. But anyone who does what pleases God will live forever." I think we should focus on that last part. But anyone who does what pleases God will live forever. There's another version that says anyone who does the will of the Father will live forever. So it is important that we do this will that God has placed on the inside of us. Each of us have a purpose, and we have to realize what that is and start living for it before we're dead and gone. Realizing that, yes, Jesus has saved us. Yes, that's it. That's all we needed right there to pass this test of life. But we need more. There is more to that. Jesus didn't just want you to be saved, but he wanted you to live the best life. And the best life comes in doing what he's called you to do. See, this life and this world, it will end. The love of this world will leave you dry. The love of this world will leave you cold. You need more than this love can give you. This love in this world can't give you what God can give you, is what I'm trying to say. God has everything that you need, and pursuing what he's called you to do is the best thing. I mean, when you value the things in this world, you realize that it will expire and end, because this life is not it. This life is only but a moment. It's here today and gone tomorrow. But actually, an eternity, you have an eternity to look for, a second life after this life. And the best life is in Christ. And being able to live forever comes in doing what God has called you to do. Being stamped by Jesus Christ and doing what Christ has called you to do. And I pray that you pursue those things today. That you stop pursuing the things of this world, because this life is a vapor. And really, only living for God is really the only thing that's worth doing. And I had to realize that in life, that only what I do for Christ will last. And that's really the only thing that's fulfilling. Like when I was doing other things, I had to keep going to it, and it wasn't really satisfying me like living for God is. And I just pray that you're able to experience that. And you leave today realizing that, this life is a vapor, but living for God is really the only thing that matters in life, and the only thing that I want to do, because I realize that that's where the best life is. And I've been experiencing that, and I really pray that you experience that yourself. So I pray that you take the message today, you go and you listen to the song Fadin, and I pray that that blesses you, and that you go and you live a life that glorifies God every moment of your life. I pray that y'all are blessed. That's it for me. K-Zoe signing out.